So, hi, I'm Julian Pritchard, and I am one half of South African independent studio Punk Arcade. Thank you. I've been developing or dabbling in games for about the past decade now, and I've lived in Joburg since I've been alive. And so, Amaze is hosted in our city, and I thought I would give a talk about what game development in our city is like, and specifically how the scene is. Yes, there's Screenshake on every slide. Now, Amaze is a playful media festival, and that by its nature leans towards independent games. So while I'm talking about the Joburg scene, I'm mainly talking about the indie stuff. Now, the scene exists within a larger industry, which I'm not really looking to comment on, aside from how it relates to indie stuff. So if I'm talking about stuff, am I projector? Thank you. So if I'm talking about some stuff that's kind of harsh, I'm not really talking about the corporate devs, so I hope none of them think too ill of me afterwards. Let's give it like that. But first, we have to cover a bit of history so you can know where the hell the scene was before it's here. A lot of this is from my own brain, so the mic infection errors don't kill me, please. So South Africa's first game was largely credited in 1996 to Celestial Games, and that was Toxic Bunny, which sold 150,000 units then, and that's pretty cool. But then Celestial had some publishing issues with their next two games, and in around 2001 they stopped making games. Kind of the next big talking point was in 1998. Luc Lamott and Dan Wegner, two DigiBig grads, were talking about setting up a studio in South Africa. So they made I Imagine, and in 2002 they released Chase. Then I Imagine made The Dog for the Game Boy, and then Final Armada for PSP and I think PS2, which had lots of publishing issues, and they closed in 2007. In 2005, our very fine friend Danny Day left SA Game Dev and made Game.dev. And yeah, that's significant for reasons. So yeah, Game.dev was significant because it encouraged people to actually make more smaller games and just get active, and they had a lot of very successful competitions that made people making games, and people got money from them at one point, which is cool. In around 2007, there was a new studio. It was kind of big. It was called Limercade, and they made a game called Mini 37. Then in 2010, they went on to make The Harvest for Windows Phone 7, was one of the launch titles. And in 2012, Lumer was making this game called Blade Slayer, and some publisher issues were about, and yeah, a lot of people weren't working at Limercade anymore, and I was sad. Actually, Mr. Points here, sorry. In 2008, Danny Day and Mark Black's QCF made Space Hack, which I absolutely adore, and it's the reason I bought an Xbox, and that came in the top 10 for Dreamable Play. In 2010, Rodane made the first prototype of Desktop Dungeons and posted it on Game.dev. 2011, QCF wins the Excellence in Design Award at the IGF for Desktop Dungeons. That's really cool. Next year, 2012, Make Games is formed. We have our first Amaze in Joburg, and we have our first year of Witske game design students. 2013, QC. Oh, wait, around 2012, yeah. Okay, so sorry, I can read. I need better glasses, seriously. Okay. Oh yeah. And then okay. Sorry. So 2012, Free Lives, blow the shit off Luton there with Broforce. Yeah, I can hear the Broforce guys. So 2013, QCF released Desktop Dungeons, Stasis is funded on Kickstarter, and 2014, Viscera Cleanup Detail is available for purchase. Oh, and yeah. Right, so the problem. Yes, when in doubt, Rami. So where does this leave us now? Well, it's slightly hard to say exactly where the Joburg community is. So yeah, Rami, and I kind of looked through all these stages of game development communities, and I was kind of going, the closest one to where we are is a stage 2, and a stage 2 community is the most common stage around the world. Congratulations, Joburg is common. Developers in the territory have found each other. Congrats, we have found each other. We have a hub and we organize internal events. Yeah, we kind of do that. In the full territory, okay, so that's maybe not just Joburg, but I'm just talking about Joburg. Thought leaders emerge from these meetings, creating informal community leaders. Okay, I'm not a thought leader, don't look at me. We exchange knowledge, rapidly become prevalent in the territory, and the voice emerges, and yes, basically, the part which Joburg doesn't align with is that we're not familiar with the kind of game dev jargon, so we don't know what polish is. Well, that's what stage 2 is, you don't know what polish is, and some other jargon, but we clearly do. So we don't exactly fit into a stage 2, but in terms of the games that we're producing, it's the closest place I could find us. And okay, so why is this relevant? Because I kind of, yes, wasn't the wrong codebook. Okay, so why is this relevant? Because this explanation is important for some reason, because I want to contrast us to our big sibling named Cape Town, who makes really cool shit. So I kind of looked at Rami's thing again, and where the hell is Cape Town? And Cape Town, I reckon, was a stage 4 community, which is, this is by far the most important stage. Congratulations, Cape Town, you're the most important. And okay, so this stage begins when a hero emerges. I'm not sure if we give him a sword, but yes, there's a hero in Cape Town. And they facilitate an international knowledge exchange, kind of creating this bridge between what's going on overseas, so Humble, Steam, those kind of really cool big people, and they kind of bring that back here. And more importantly, the hero validates the idea that game development is a viable course for people in the territory. So I suppose realize making shit tons of money makes people think, well, I can make video games. But now back to Joburg. What even is any anyway? The first problem that, well, we have veteran developers who have been around for a long time, and they have jobs in the industry for a long time. They're kind of outsourced developers, and they have a very limited way to engage with people making smaller, more artistic projects. And yeah, they're not always available for information. They don't come to the meetups a lot. And so it's kind of like, there's not this downflow of knowledge from people who have a big well of it to people who are just kind of starting out. So a couple of indies in Joburg are mostly these students and hobbyists who started out doing stuff and was like, hey, I can kind of do this and not completely suck at it. And that's really cool. But on the other hand, we have this huge array of students around, and yeah, go students. They're all whooping AI, but they don't come to the community meetups. Sorry, guys. I know, but you've been there for bloody ever. Okay, so I mean, if I look at Joburg, and here's the thing, indies in Joburg. There are not even 10 full-time independent developers in Joburg. I would be very surprised if there are in fact 5. There are like that few of us. And I think this is, a situation kind of endemic, and is what I like to call the reanimating zombie cycle. And I really wanted to have a funny animation for this, but I didn't have fucking time because of Unity and trying to get shit working. So every so often, the Joburg community is doing really well, and we're making cool shit, and we're kind of getting together, and there's people doing stuff, and it's kind of the problem is that if it's based around kind of stuff, and then shit kind of breaks because there's the person who's holding everyone together, and then they kind of leave, and then we're back to being a zombie, just wondering how to stay around. And then every so often a wizard pops up and becomes that head, and I really wanted to make an animation of that, but I couldn't. So I believe there are 4 problems to the reanimating zombie cycle. I know 4 isn't a very particularly attractive number to say that there are, there's only 3 or 5, but I counted 4, I'm sorry. Okay, so firstly, the community tends to revolve around a central, group of people or a singular person. And the problem is this, so like I said, that person can sometimes leave. So in 2010, Sven was this very big head of our community, and then he went to go work down at Free Lives in Cape Town, and then he was hired by Canadians. But in Canada, we kind of like you sometimes, but you're stealing our developers. Okay, so secondly, the Joburg community is part of the larger South African community. we're just like a cog in the machine. Rage against the machine, please. Not really. We love everyone in the game development community in South Africa. But it kind of means that there are people influencing the Joburg community who aren't always exactly sure what's going on here. So I think the best thing I can illustrate this, for about 8 months we ran our community meetups like Cape Town's, and I've been to Cape Town's meetings. I love them, they're really great, but it doesn't work for Joburg. And so eventually we're like, okay, this shit isn't working, let's go try something else, which weirdly enough, we ran our community meetings like that 4 years ago, and that's how we do it at the moment. It's kind of cyclic, like that zombie thing. So thirdly, the Joburg community is actually fractured. So we have the meetings at Microsoft, who gave us free food. Thanks Microsoft for free food. Once a month. And these meetups really aren't representative of the people in Joburg who are actually making games. Because we've got veterans from commercial developers who've been doing this for a long time, but they're not always there, and sometimes they're there and then they're not there for a long time. And then we have game design students at Wits who, some of them have been there for ages, and then the new ones just don't really come there. I mean, Joburg's a big place, and it's really hard to get everyone together. And I wish we could do that more. Fourthly, this is, I love a maze. Seriously, it's the best time Joburg is. And we don't really do a lot of cool stuff in Joburg aside from maze. It's like, we have maze, and what other cool thing do we do? Seriously? Can anyone tell me something cool we do besides a maze?
Do you need anything else?
You only do that during the maze. Thank you. And so, the maze is largely imported from, Germany and other places. It's not really something very Joburg in a sense. It's lovely, but it's not like this is a wholly Joburg experience. So it's just kind of, we need to do more cool stuff. We need to make more cool games, have, weird things like Super Friendship Arcade, and maybe not really Super Friendship Arcade, and Stephen, I'll totally get to during questions and answers, because I'm currently going through this. So it kind of makes it difficult for the community to grow when you're not really getting everyone together and doing cool stuff and building on momentum, and you'll have these momentum breaks, and it's really difficult to get a community to grow. And so we can't really follow our big sibling steps because we don't have these titles around going this is cool games and this is how you do stuff, and that's, I was talking about Cape Town earlier because they do cool stuff and I want us to be more like them in a sense, but we're not. So now the question, why do I care, and probably why you should care too? Well, firstly, I'm kind of from here, and I started making games here, and the environment here, for better or worse, made me the game developer that I am, so the state of things here matters to me. But, I've got a far bigger concern, and is that Joburg is home to Wits, who is our only actual game design-focused degree in the country. And, that means every year we're going to have an increasing amount, I hope, of, graduates from the degree. And that should be really cool, people graduating with game design degrees. On the other hand, we have this kind of industry, and eventually I'm not sure how many people are actually going to be able to move into the industry and getting jobs. And that's kind of worrying, because if you're graduating a degree, hopefully you're going to get a job in that. But then the thing, so that's just commercial dev, and I'm putting above assumption that you want to go into commercial dev because maybe you made really cool arty games when you were in university and you want to make art games. Or indie games. And the thing is people are commercial stuff is safe, it's, stable salary and that, but if I look at, the history of some commercial studios, or the original Celestial in the 90s, I imagine, Lim Arcade, those were all really big dev houses here, and it's those are safe places to have jobs, and it's oh, they all had these issues and closed. But yeah. So, advertising all over the place. I totally missed that point. Anyway, I'm rushing for time. But back to the students. So, a degree doesn't really help you when it comes to making games. Sorry, Hanley. She agrees with me. Okay, I'm fine. I'm not going to get killed.
I'll explain why I agree later, but I'm not going to contest anymore.
Okay, and when it comes to being hired or part of a team, people are going to more look at what games you've made as opposed to a piece of paper that says if you can or can't do things. And so I think it's slightly terrifying that I'm not seeing students making more games and getting them out there. So I think that's a bad thing, and they should be making more games. So, like, what do we actually do and fix this problem? Yep, Chris Priestman. So, when it comes to this, I think back to Amaze 2013, and Chris Priestman gave this really great package talk about punk games. And that talk is like always in my head when I'm thinking about games. And if you're wondering why the company I have is called Punk Arcade, yep, that's Chris Priestman, goddamn you. And well, I'd love to tell everyone here to like go out and make punk games and like make interesting games and just go and do as much cool shit as possible. I know eventually you're going to have to do something that makes some money so you can eat and get internet and whatever the hell you else use money for. So yeah, but on the other hand, like, let's just take a look at some of the really cool games that came out of South Africa. So, like, Desktop Dungeons, first of all, and that's a game where exploration is a resource. That's really weird. Broforce, making satire of American popular culture while still paying, like, you know, huge homage to it. I mean, it's a love letter. Really weird. Nothing else really like that. Viscera Cleanup Detail. Viscera Cleanup Detail. You're not the hero going through space. You're the guy cleaning up after him. And, you know, Stasis, sci-fi horror point-and-click adventure. Like, I honestly can't think of another point-and-click adventure that's horror and sci-fi and space. So, I mean, this kind of thing of, when you look at the games, they're all, like, really unique and different and off the beaten path of whatever the hell is in the industry. And, you know, you can't really go and analyze Gamasutra blog posts and go like, oh yes, this is how you make a good, you know, game like Broforce. So this kind of thing. If you're looking to make Flappy Bird or Angry Bird or some other absolute genius wonder game, yeah, please go play the fucking lottery because your chances of getting money that way are better than the App Store. Seriously, do the maths. So, I mean, yeah, you're trying to make money, but, you know, if your only goal in making games is to make money, there are industries out there which can use your skills and probably play you better than games, because it's a kind of rough industry. So, yeah, if you really want to make money and, you know, you're into games, maybe gambling games? Yes, people are laughing, I made a reference. So, like, now what you ask me, do I just give up on my dream of making games because, like, you know, you're obsessed, like, work in like crappy studios or, you know, try and be like indie devs or, no, the thing is, like, you don't have to do that. You can work a day job and make games on the side. My business partner does that, and he's pretty good at that. So, I mean, if you're studying, you're doing contract work, and no matter what, like, you can slip some time in on the side to actually make the stuff you're interested in. And yeah, like, no matter what, you can still do what you want and have a realistic expectation of, you know, still feeding yourself and getting internet, because apparently those are my two priorities in life. But, you know, in the time when you have the moments to, you know, make games and make lots of them, like try and make very different stuff and see what you can do, or maybe that big passion project of yours, make something that kind of bucks the trend, I hope, and, you know, out of the current sphere, because, I mean, like I said, if you look at the really big games that came out of South Africa, they're already different from stuff that was made before. There's nothing else like them. And unless they're cloned, sorry, Desktop Dungeons. And yeah, like, go to game jams, like, go to all these weird places and do as much weird things for games, because, like, you know, you'll learn something new, hopefully, and you'll make better games, because you spend 40 hours making a visual novel. That happens. So yeah. So here I am in Joburg, South Africa, and the screen shaking. I hope not too much that you got nauseous. And are we cool? I think you know the answer is kind of no, but here's the thing. We've got more fucking potential in this room, in this city, than pretty much anywhere else in the country, because, like, we have tons of people coming up and they're making really fucking cool shit. Like, have you played Raptor Polo?
Yeah!
Yeah,
Wow.
Raptor Polo, guys!
Boxer!
Oh, Boxer 2, sorry. The motion gear. goddamn Shakir. Like, Shakir, stand up, please. Yeah, like, you know, make interesting, cool shit like Boxer and Raptor Polo, and then just, you know, goes out and people are like, yeah, they want to talk about you in your talks. And so, you know, when you make weird, cool shit, it makes you better dev, and sometimes you fuck up, and that's okay, because you can always just make more weird, cool shit. And, yeah, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, and here's the kind of thing I saved the most important thing from last. Why is community important? Like, why should we give a shit about actually trying to build a decent community in the scene here? And yeah, I'm going to actually completely read this, so you have to excuse me, I've been trying not to. This is my first look, I was super nervous. I don't think you've noticed. No, I think you've noticed that. But yeah, this is like one of my favorite verses of poetry. Stupid iPad. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as the promontory were, as well as the manner of thy neighbor or thine own. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never sinned to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Make more fucking games, please.